Welcome to NBA Today, where the biggest question in the league, it has been answered months after requesting a trade out of Philadelphia. Our Adrian Wojnarowski, he reported that James Harden is headed to the Los Angeles Clippers in a blockbuster trade. Now, Woj reported this move at about 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time while most of the world was sleeping, but he was bringing us these details from an empty, largely closed Newark airport where he had been scheduled to get on a plane. The news called, he delivered the details. This is all according to Woj. The Clippers, they received James Harden, P.J. Tucker, Philip Petrusev from Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, K.J. Martin, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a pick swap. You got all that? Well, add this. OKC also gets a pick swap from the Clippers as they owned one of the first going to Philadelphia. So with all of that as the background, Woj joins us now, not from the airport. Hope you got at least an hour of rest, my friend. Let's start with the timing of all of this, right, Woj? Because just a few days ago, the Clippers, they said they were pressing pause on the James Harden business. So fast forward to last night, and what changed?
Malika, what changed when the two sides started to talk again over the weekend? I think there was just a sense of inevitability about this trade between the Clippers and the Sixers, that positionally and who was available out there, James Harden fit the Clippers' needs. And for the Sixers, the Clippers were the only real team to express significant interest in James Harden. And I think for both organizations, the idea of this playing out over weeks or even months and then doing a trade later in the season made a lot less sense than doing it now. James Harden is essentially a regular season ceiling raiser for an organization. He's not shown to be a great postseason player. And so if you're the Clippers, the idea that you want to do this trade with 79 games left in the season versus 69 or 59 makes sense. And I think for the Sixers, I think they saw and they believed that the best offer they were going to get from the Clippers was with a lot left on the calendar. And these sides they both gave in different ways. But I think fundamentally both sides saw a deal in the end that got them what they wanted, especially the Clippers, not having to give up 2 of their own first-round picks, not having to give up Terrence Mann. Those were certainly deciding factors in them deciding to move forward with this deal and now get James Harden integrated into a Clippers team now that obviously he's surrounded with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Harden's old teammate, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, the Clippers, they have high hopes in a crowded Western Conference, and you have to imagine that James Harden is going to have a positive impact on all that. Woj, thank you. We're coming back to you in just a matter of minutes on the Philadelphia side of all this. But in the meantime, take a look at this potential starting lineup for the Clippers. Now it features James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Leonard, and Ivica Zubac. So, senior writer Zach Lowe, Windhorst here with us as well. Our analyst, new member of the President's Advisory Council, Chiney Ogwumike. You better believe we're going to be adding that to your resume. Brian, I do want to start with you here in all of this, though, because this saga, it has been unfolding for months now. There have been ups and downs, and Zach Lowe's compared it to various different amusement park rides. Now that we finally have a little bit of a resolution here, what do you make of what this means for James Harden?
I make that he is a big winner. He got exactly what he wanted yet again. He gets the team he wants to play for. His bird rights go there, and he gets it expeditiously. No matter what you want to say about his tactics, he has delivered what he's wanted. Part of the reason why the Sixers want to do this now is they didn't want any more distractions. And his comments over the summer, his coming late to training camp, his leaving in the middle of the preseason, his coming back quasi-unannounced, him going to the airport, all of that contributed to a little bit of disarray that the Sixers didn't want. It certainly helped that the Clippers were able to put together a good package. It certainly helped that Tyrese Maxey was able to play so well to start the season that settled down the Sixers going forward. But this is James Harden getting what he wanted. He is undefeated. And I'm even going to go back to when he got traded from the Thunder and he got his max contract in his own team with the Rockets. He is undefeated in 4 trades in his career. We've seen guys like Hakeem Olajuwon at the end of their career, basically go into a side business training NBA players. I'm serious. When James Harden's career is over, he should open up a consultancy where he advises players on how to get traded because he's untouchable. And I'm not saying this tongue in cheek. He gets exactly what he wants when he wants under his terms. Victory today for James Harden.
Well, James Harden being traded for the fourth time in his NBA career. That is tied for the most by a former MVP in the league. Westbrook, Moses Malone, and Bob McAdoo are the others. But Zach, when your phone starts buzzing bright and early, actually, I don't even think it was bright at that point, about the news of this trade, what was your reaction?
Welcome to the Last Chance Saloon, baby. This is James Harden's yet another shot to rewrite his postseason legacy on a would-be contender. It might be the Clippers' last shot at doing something really, really consequential with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They've won 3 playoff series in 4 years, none since 2021. They are almost all in, but they kept that 2030 first-round pick, and they kept Terrence Mann. And for Philly, look, this is a nice resolution. The distraction, which could have gotten worse, as Brian outlined, is gone. Tyrese Maxey is playing not just like an all-star, but like an all-NBA player through 3 or 4 games. They're set. They're stable. They got a bunch of good rotation players in addition to the draft picks in this trade. But look, don't let that distract you. They are still on the clock with Joel Embiid. Their competition is still the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, and in the other conference, Denver and Phoenix and all those great teams, and they're not quite at that level yet.
And the Clippers, they undeniably got better. And it is also true that James Harden undeniably got what he wanted, and that is so rare. But the key factor here is at what cost? Because this is a legacy-defining move by James Harden. I'm telling you, if you're a player in the NBA looking at this news, you're like, man, must be nice. Someone who has been able to play on 4 teams, 4 contenders in 4 years. And this is his legacy right here, because if it doesn't work out, people are going to start saying, hey, we saw the situations around you that were out of your control, but this stop right here with the Clippers is in your full control. If they are healthy, if they are available, and he plays to what he has done, led the league in assists last year, they should win. But if he falls short, this is what his legacy will be determined moving forward.
Oh, yeah, and the Clippers, they've struggled a bit in the Paul George, Kawhi era with consistency at the point guard position, so they're hoping that James Harden is that answer. And that's kind of the Harden side of this, at least for now. There's a whole lot more to get into, but another impacted party, of course, as Zach Lowe mentioned, is Joel Embiid and the 76ers. So let's bring back in the man with all of the answers, Woj. The Sixers, they got back multiple draft picks. They got back a swap and all of this as well. What are their plans to continue sort of building around the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid, here?
Well, Malika, it's certainly not to wait around and use those draft picks in the future. Those are all trade assets now for the Sixers between now and the February trade deadline to see who becomes available and who they can get into the action with. The Sixers believe that they can offer now a package comparable to what Drew Holiday went for earlier this season from Portland once Milwaukee had moved on from him. They see that in their minds, they can offer up that kind of package for the next available, star guard or wing player. And that's going to be the Sixers' goal in the short term around Joel Embiid, to fortify this team again before the playoffs, and then bringing back those expiring contracts, moving out P.J. Tucker. This is a team now that could have up to $65 million in salary cap space in the summer. Now, listen, there may not be the big free agent for them to go out and use it on, but it opens up the door for trades for teams who are looking to get money off. It's certainly, and with those picks, with those assets, you look again at the February trade deadline and then in the summer, and that's what Daryl Morey is selling Joel Embiid on, that this is a season that can still end with a playoff run, and then there's a future around him in Philly where they're going to try to sell him on reshaping this roster and putting together the kind of team that Joel Embiid can look around at Boston look around at Milwaukee and say, I can compete with those guys.
Right, because if we've said it once, we've said it 100 times. When you have a star of Joel Embiid's caliber, you are always on the clock. Woj, thank you very much. Try to make this next flight west, and we're going to see you in studio soon. We appreciate the time. Ramona Shelburne here with us as well. The Sixers, their success, Ramona, right? It's synonymous with Joel Embiid, as Woj just outlined. How does he feel today in the new day about this deal that happened with James Harden?
Well, I think it helps a lot that Tyrese Maxey has been this good this early.
Absolutely.
I mean, Eastern Conference Player of the Week, but also looks like a budding all-star. And so there was this sense that they were having this cap space plan. Okay, we're going to save room for 2 max players, and Tyrese didn't expend. Well, Tyrese looks like that second star. But as Woj just mentioned, those draft picks they got for James Harden, those are trade assets. And the question that everyone will be watching with Joel for the rest of this year and for as long as he gives them is, how long and how patient is he going to be for them to find that third star? To find really the second star could be Tyrese, but how long does he give them to find the third star, do something with those draft picks? Because a 26 first-round pick, a 28 first-round pick, he'll be done with his prime by then, right? What about this year? What about next year? He doesn't need to give them that much longer of his prime to do something with those picks. And I think that's really the bottom line when it comes to a star player. As Malika, you said, you're always on the clock. They did well in this trade. They got back the 2 first-round picks. That was a red line for them. They had to have 2 first-round picks. What do you do with them now and how quickly?
It still feels, Brian, incomplete to me until we see where those picks end up. And that seems to be what Joel Embiid is feeling.
Yeah, I think the mandate is the same. Even if James Harden was happily on the 76ers and had signed a beautiful extension this offseason, they were under the same amount of pressure after a couple of seasons where they underachieved. And the comments that Joel Embiid made over the offseason, they were under pressure to get deeper into the playoffs this year, to make a run at winning the Eastern Conference. That's one of the reasons why they changed the head coach, regardless of what was going to happen with James Harden. And that is a reality when you have a star player of this level. When you have an in-their-prime MVP, his contract is irrelevant. It's what his happiness level is. So it is the mandate of Daryl Morey and Elton Brand and that organization to keep Joel Embiid engaged and believing the team can compete for a championship. And so that is the mission. And now they have a little bit more chips in the game to be able to do that. And based on what I understand, I think Joel Embiid is in a good place. I think he's off to a good start this season. He's had a couple of really good games in a row. The team is off to a good start. A lot of the players are feeling good about themselves. And now they don't have to worry about James Harden showing up or not. I think in the short term here, I think you'll see the Sixers play some pretty good basketball even before they make another potential trade to add to their roster.
Yeah, particularly if Tyrese Maxey can keep in the direction that he has been going early to start the season here. Zach Lowe, last word on this.
What I would want to see if I'm Joel Embiid, or what I want to see if I'm a Sixers fan, is this whole era, 8, 9, 10 years, it's been constant drama, constant tumult, ups and downs, trade requests, unhappy players, coaching changes. All of that needs to stop. This needs to be viewed by the organization, from ownership to Joel Embiid to everybody, as the end point of all of that. Whatever has to happen within their culture, and that involves everybody, to not go down this road again, to not have another unhappy superstar, another drama, another set of distractions. They need to have an internal come to Jesus kind of meeting that we just can't keep going down this road because you just can only do it so many times. And that's on everybody. Everybody there has got to be tired of all of this.
Yeah, you have to process it and then turn the page to the next process that the 76ers are going into. By the way, I know, Ramona, you're a calendar keeper. I'm a calendar keeper. Have you guys circled these dates on your calendar yet? Because the Clippers and the 76ers, we get to see them go head-to-head on March 24th and then on March 27th on ESPN.